Is Pete Alonso going to re-sign with the New York Mets? Is he going to the Blue Jays? Is there going to be a last-minute mystery team that comes in? Or will Pete Alonso be sitting at home for opening day? I want to know what you are thinking. We've been breaking this Pete Alonso situation down like crazy, as has pretty much every other New York Mets and Toronto Blue Jays fan. I really want to know this, and the reason I'm asking a lot is because I keep getting comments from Blue Jays fans saying if Pete wanted to be a Met, he would have already re-signed with the Mets. And I don't know if I particularly buy that. I'm certainly open to hearing why you think that. I think it's much more likely that Pete Alonso and his camp are using the Toronto Blue Jays as leverage to try to put some pressure on the Mets and say, look, we have a deal here. We have an offer that we can take. So we want this to work, but you need to do something here that's going to work for us. And I just tend to feel like that's what's going on here. My gut says Pete still wants to be a Met, but he's trying to maximize his money and make sure that if his stats decline happens, that he has some security. But if he goes off this year, that he has the ability to get the huge contract that he wants. And it's walking a very fine line and a very fine balance between trying to keep promoting his brand, obviously be in a situation to win, but at the same time, also keep all the doors open for the max deal that he really wants. And I know it's not technically a max deal in baseball, but you understand, like, he wants that 6-year, 7-year deal, the mega million, $200 million plus, the deal that he is clearly not being offered this year. So I have heard very little rumblings. I feel like this is the type of situation the San Francisco Giants might try to hop in on at a certain point in time. I always wondered if there would be a situation where the Yankees would try to hop in on this, especially knowing how Pete can at least handle the New York market. It would certainly make Mets-Yankees rivalry games that much crazier with it. But I feel like the Mets want to have their first baseman in camp at the start of spring training. And so this is what my gut says. My gut says the Mets will sign Pete Alonso in the next 7 days. That's what my gut says. If I just had to guess right now, that's what I would guess. However, if you see the Mets make a move, make a trade, make a signing, whatever, if you see names like Ryan Mountcastle, Spencer Torkelson, Yandy Diaz, if you see the Mets sign any of those guys, then I think it is over for the Mets and Pete Alonso going into the season. I know Steve Cohen said never say never, but Steve Cohen did not say never to this year. He might be saying never say never for this way. I truly believe that the Mets do not want to be burdened by a huge Pete Alonso contract that might not age well when they can simply try to find a semi-decent stopgap with the hopes that Alvarez will step it up again this year, that Vientos doesn't slide back, that maybe Beatty is ready, maybe Acuna would stay on, and continued pop. Of course, you're adding Soto to the lineup and Nimmo. I could see that maybe their play is simply saying, look, we know we're losing a little bit, but if we can gain parts and pieces of Pete across the board among many players, that maybe we can do this, and that the Mets are really trying to hold off to be fully all in on the Vlad Guerrero Jr. signing next year. And I think this is really interesting because I think because Vlad Guerrero Jr. is out there, that's one of the things that is significantly hurting Pete's market for this year. Now, on the other hand, that does make sense why the Blue Jays might be willing to hop in on Pete, saying, well, we know Vladdy's going to walk, and then if this is a big if, but if the Blue Jays are out of contention at the trade deadline, then they have two pieces that they could basically just trade and get a huge return for, right? They could trade both Pete and Vlad. Of course, that's assuming there's not like some restrictive no trade clause. I don't know their exact setups, but that they could say, look, we're going to just trade both of you guys for a bunch of prospects. And in that case, you could definitely see the Mets hopping in on either of those guys as a trade deadline move. But that's a lot of what ifs, maybes, and we're not sure what's going to happen. So I can certainly see that. Of course, you've got the flexibility of Vlad going to third if need be there. And so you could make those both work. But that's kind of my thing. I I hope for Pete's sake, literally for Pete's sake, I hope that he has a team. I hope the team is the Mets for my sake because I would like to have him back. But for Pete's sake, I hope that he has a team for opening day. I hope he's not. Baseball careers are still so short, and I hope that he's not spending opening day 2025 sitting at home on a couch waiting for a team to call him, because there's just too much talent there for him to be sitting around not doing anything. So I want to know, genuinely, vote down in the comments below. You can just say Mets, Blue Jays, mystery team, or sit out. Now, not necessarily meaning sit out the whole season, but sit out opening day. So those are the four options: Mets, Blue Jays, mystery team, or sit out. Where will Pete be for opening day? Want to hear that? Would love to hear that. I hope that we can get resolution. I hope for the Mets' sake that they know who their starting first baseman is going to be as they go into spring training. We're talking spring training games are just 19 days away. And I don't think the Mets want to have to deal with the constant reporter questions about Pete, what's going on. I think they want to be able to say, look, this is our team we're going into the season with, and we're ready to go. But I want to know what you think. Also, before we go, make sure you click in the link down in the description. Also, pin it in the comments. We are giving away a Nick Madrigal rookie card. Nick Madrigal just signed with the New York Mets. He is taking over, potentially, at least auditioning for the role of Jose Iglesias, of kind of that utility guy off the bench, who can play a variety of positions, and he's going to be trying to make it with the Mets this year. So if he does make it, maybe he can put on a similar run as Iglesias did last year. And so you can just sign up. All I need is you just sign up with your email address. Not going to ask for any of your shipping information unless you win. And then once we have enough people signed up, we'll do a drawing. But if you find yourself being kind of unlucky in life, make sure you do that. And we will also, once you sign up there, you'll sign up for all future promos and giveaways. And we'll kind of remind you on that as well. At least all promos and giveaways that we do through email. So it'll be kind of just a one-time sign up, and we'll have lots of cards. You can see all those boxes back are filled with baseball and football cards, and we'll have other sports memorabilia. Some of those are for sale on my eBay, which that link is in the description below, but some of them we're also just going to give away to you guys. So thank you so much for supporting the channel. Make sure you click on that because I hope that you can win. I appreciate you. Hit that like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.